Hey, Tony Gazzard here, popping in. Now, I want to talk about this. I'm going to start just talking about just some video, the struggles of men as I'm learning more about myself and just how we are. And one of the things I found about myself and communication is just how hard it can be. Like, not just being online talking, but like in a relationship, with friendships. And one of the things that you hear all the time, a lot of times women say, oh, he doesn't communicate. And then some women say, oh, he communicate, but it's very harsh. And I found that, even with myself and just being in these different spaces. And what I realize is a lot of men, we go through a very deep spiritual warfare. And it may be on the job, it may be with family, it may be in the home, it may be just generational things, just not feeling worthy, not feeling enough, trying to please everybody, be everything for everybody. And there's this burden, placed on a man of, you gotta make this amount of money. You gotta look this way. You gotta be able to get this type of woman. You gotta be married by this age. And we know all too well, we know women have all these same burdens, but I believe there's a difference in emotional intelligence between men and women. And you have some men who are exceptions to the rule when it comes to emotional intelligence, and then you have some women who are not emotionally intelligent at all. But when I look at the differences, sometimes I feel like, okay, maybe it's kind of like your life and what your life has presented to you. And those lessons that you learn is some intangible things that you come about in your life, that you come across in your life. And so I notice even like with my oldest son, he's extremely tough. He's extremely tough. He doesn't really cry. He gets his feelings hurt, but not to the point of crying. Like, I could count on one hand how many times my oldest son has had his feelings hurt to the point that he wanted to cry, or that he cried by me or his mom, or like not making a team. But my youngest son, I would have to use all my fingers, toes, all of your fingers, toes, all of everybody's fingers and toes to count how many times he has cried over his game not loading on the phone, like anything. But my oldest son was premature, and he was getting poked and pricked, and he was in the intensive care unit for 3.5 months, 4 months, came home and was eating out of a tube, and grew up with eczema, very severe, bad eczema all over his face, all over his hands, arms. And his life was so hard on him that it made him so tough. And then my youngest, life has been so easy on him that he's pretty soft. And even when I look at like my wife and I, her life was way harder than mine. And it made her really tough. And my life was way easier than hers, and it made me much more soft and sensitive. And so I realized with men, just not only what we go through, but just also looking at us as humans. Sometimes I look at the fact that a woman's body is built to give birth, like carry a whole nother being. And I think about, like, as a man, if I had to carry, like, go through a season of like 9 months of just getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger in this part of my body, and just carrying all that weight on that part of my body, and what it's doing to my feet, what it's doing to my hips, what it's doing to my back, what it's doing to the rest of my body. And then I have to either get cut open, or I got to push that child out, or even lose that child. And when I think about that, that has to have, I could be completely wrong, but it has to have some type of correlation to emotional intelligence in a woman being different than a man. because a man, just innately, we don't have those things that our body has to go through. And I don't believe our creator makes any mistakes. So I feel like if we are created to have to deal with certain things in our body, that we have the mental capacity to be able to handle it. And so when I look at, the way I communicate and the way I handle my problems and the way I deal with things and the way I go about things, I realize, it's been a lot of flaws in my life. It's been a lot of pain. It's been a lot of, frustration. It's been a lot of sense of failure. It's been this pressure of feeling like I got to provide and take care of everybody, not just my household, but even outside of my household. And then not feeling like there's gratitude or any reciprocation that even comes close to what I may have done. And I feel like in different ways, a lot of men struggle with that and go through that. And then we go into a relationship and our woman, the women are like, hey, I don't like the way you talk to me, or hey, I don't like the fact that you don't talk. I don't like the fact that you're so closed in. I don't like the fact that, weed is your outlet or alcohol is your outlet or the gambling is your outlet. And it seems like there's just this mental capacity that's shrunken, that's much smaller in a man than it is in a woman to really process emotions and feelings and articulate those things in a wholesome and healthy way. And I've dealt with it in a very real way, and one day I'll be able to tell my whole story. But knowing that tomorrow is not promised, I always want to be authentic and talk about real life issues, because I don't just see me going through and growing through and having gone through, but also several other people. And it can be painful. And then any given man could have this calling on his life that he knows nothing about, or that he doesn't know, the depths of it, because it could be a situation where a woman could be with a man who it is him that's going to get his family out of poverty, or it is him that's going to impact his city and save 1,000 kids from the streets, or it is him that's going to do unprecedented things and become the principal of his old school and take it from an F school to an A school. And I believe that there's a spiritual realm. And in that spiritual realm that there's good and evil. And I believe in that spiritual realm, when you start to do things that will upend the plan of the adversary, that you become under attack, that you become the person that is now at war in your spirit. And it is really to break you and to destroy you, because if you can touch one life, if and this could go both ways, but I'm speaking from a male perspective and just for the man, but as a woman, it could be the exact same thing. But it's almost like you can, and I've seen this with several men. I've seen this over and over and over, and it's crazy because I even go through it. And I haven't seen it myself personally with a woman or like many women, but just being a man, I'm looking at other men as examples, as leaders, and I've seen it to where I will see a man who is so gifted, and it might be just like as a basketball coach, but all them 12 to 15 boys on his team every year, he's touching their life, he's changing their life, and they're going to grow and become husbands and fathers and school teachers and principals and business owners. And his positive impact on their life can create a ripple effect that really starts to change the world, because I'm one man and my messages have reached tens of millions of people in my career. Like Facebook used to show me, your post this week reached 20 million people. And it didn't say like 20 million people of the same account. Like it was 1 million people who saw your post 20 times, but it said your posts have reached 20 million of our accounts, of Facebook accounts. And so here I am, one person. Now the next week it will say 20 million. Maybe it's the same 20 million, but I doubt it. But even if it's only changed 10%, then that's 200,000 people different. So if I'm reaching 2 million different. But if I'm reaching 20 million, in a month, that's 80 million. Now, I'm pretty sure it's not all different people. But here is a man who struggles. Here is a man who is far from perfect. Here is a man who is not a good man. Like, I'm not a good man. Like, I'm not the world's greatest person. Like, I have a dark past, and but yet I'm affecting change in some people's lives. So when you think about this, it's like, if I could reach just without a college degree. Yeah, I went to college 8 years, but I didn't graduate. So without a college degree, without a mentor, I've never had like a mentor in what I do. I've never had a mentor other than my father. And my father will tell you he's an imperfect man, and he thinking about getting on YouTube, and he's literally been thinking about getting on YouTube for like 10 years. And he hasn't made it on here yet, just because of his own, things he has to overcome in his life, of just, mentally, and dealing with the family, and just, helping me out, helping my sister out, helping his grandkids out mentally, emotionally. That's tugging, that's draining. And so a lot of times when we out here serving, our own people right next to us may be suffering and may be losing. And I want to talk about this because I know every man is dealing with this in his own way. And it could be from childhood. And I know every woman is too, but that's for a woman to speak on. I'm not a woman. So ladies, don't feel like, oh, you make it excuse for the man and you ain't worried about what the woman going through. It just, I don't know what a woman goes through. I'm not a woman. But if you're a woman and you got a YouTube channel, then talk about, the struggles and things. And I'm never trying to discredit a woman's struggle. And I ask that women don't discredit a man's struggle, because what you got to realize is that even as men, when we do crazy stuff, when we lash out, when we cheat, when we lie, when we beat, when we steal, when we kill, when we do all of this different stuff, it's coming from somewhere. Like, it's not just, oh, just wake up this morning, hey, I just want to do this today. No, it's coming from somewhere. And that's why the phrase says hurt people hurt people. So it's coming from somewhere, and that root, it may be different for every man, but it's something there, and it has to be addressed. It got to be looked at. It got to be understood to a certain degree, and it's painful. And so I'm in this space in my life right now to where, I got to keep doing my work. But as I'm learning, as I'm growing as a person, I'm going to be sharing it. For every day God give breath in my body, I want to share it, because this video might be watched after I'm dead and gone. This video, somebody might watch this video and it give them perspective or help them understand, what their man, their father, their brother, their son is going through and internalizing, and where this person is operating from. And sometimes you just got to speak to it. And one thing I want to encourage you, if you know a man who you see he's different, or he's struggling, or he's something wrong, just speak to it. Like, speak to it. Speak life into it and say, listen, I know you're hurting. Listen, I know you're frustrated, and you're frustrated. I know that you feel like you fail. I know that you feel like you're inadequate. I know that, you've gone through things in your life, and just speak to that and speak truth to power, and don't worry about what'll come back from that. And he may even lash out more. He may even get louder, but then just speak to it again. And then if you have to remove yourself, and then you got to speak to it from a distance, you got to speak to it from another state. Like, if this somebody you love, then understand that he could be dealing with this thing. And the reason why I see is because I'm seeing this all around me, and I'm also a man, so I get it. I understand. I've made every mistake that a man can make, every bad choice that a man can make. So I understand it not just from the work I do, but also just being human and living life. And so I want to share that and just help you understand that it's a reason why that man communicates the way he communicates. It's a reason why he's in the spiritual warfare that he's in. It's a reason why he's going through what he's going through. It's a reason why he is where he is. It's a reason for it. Good, bad, or ugly, whatever is going on in his life, it's a reason for it. And we got to uncover that reason, and we got to address that reason, and we got to speak to it, and we got to call it out and just really be real about that thing. So, hey, this is Tony Gaskin. God bless you. We'll talk soon.